Hi, everybody. Welcome to this webinar on the program Marine Sciences at the Master University of Utrecht. And my name is Francesca Sangiorgi. I will be your instructor here. I'm an associate professor at the Department of Earth Sciences, and I am a program leader of this Master Marine Sciences. And next to me is Amy Taylor, second year student. So yeah, of this of the master. So we will be part of your crew today. The rest of the crew is on a chat. We'll have Anouk and Casper, other two students, master students, or second year of the Master Marine Sciences. They are available for answering your question on a chat. So please feel free to ask as many questions as you wish. And at the end of the session, we will also have a question and answer Q&A session where we will be trying to answer all your question and all your curiosity. And remember that this webinar is being recorded, so you can always get a link via your email in which you can look at it again or look at it if you haven't managed to be with us today. So again, welcome. And as a program leader, I should explain a little bit why, in my view, students should choose the Master Marine Sciences. Well, first of all, if you look at the planet from outside, you basically see that the planet is blue because its surface is basically covered with water. So you can argue it is really vast. It is beautiful in a way that the sea offers us not just very many so-called service, but also beautiful views and important landscape. And it's important not just for its ecosystem, but also for all of us, for the human being. Because if you look how much of the water on Earth is the marine water, it's salty water, that's a huge percentage. So about 97% of Earth's water is in the sea and in the ocean. Unfortunately, when we are looking at the future, it's known by everybody that, of course, the human impact has, in the recent decades, or since, if you wish, the Industrial Revolution, has impacted the entire planet, and not just the atmosphere, but also the ocean, by basically emitting a huge amount of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases to the atmosphere, to percentages or to a concentration that have now gone over the 400 ppm. And all this CO2 is basically changing the entire equilibrium, not just in the atmosphere, but also and mostly in the ocean. The ocean are, in fact, by far the largest carbon sink in the world, and 95% of the CO2 on Earth is contained indeed in the ocean. And the ocean has also been able, via the ecosystem themselves and also via their physical property, to actually get and absorb the 35% of anthropogenic CO2 we have emitted so far. But one big question is how long the ocean will be able to cope with the excessive amount of CO2 that we are still emitting in the atmosphere. Unfortunately, one of the first results of CO2 emission in the ocean is global warming. Not just a global warming of the atmosphere, but also warming in the ocean. And the oceans start warming in the surface layer, so let's say in the first few hundred meters, but now recently they have started warming also at depth. And all this warming and also consequences, for instance, for the melting of big ice sheets in the polar area. But the emission of CO2 in the atmosphere, which has been absorbed and is still being absorbed by the ocean, is also causing acidification, also a very known phenomenon by which, of course, the pH of the water is decreasing, threatening all kinds of organisms and ecosystems. But on the top of that, because human impact, especially in the coastal zone, is also increasing the amount of nutrient emission and pollution into the ocean water, the combination of warming on one hand and eutrophication or nutrient pollution on the other hand is also decreasing incredibly the amount of oxygen available in the ocean. And we have increasingly amount of this so-called anoxic or suboxic area in the ocean, in coastal areas, but also in the deeper ocean. So basically, it's clear to everybody that the human impact in the ocean has been huge. It has distorted the ecosystem, it's distorting food webs, is damaging resources, is decreasing biodiversity, it's changing the climate, and with the climate also the ocean circulation, is impacting the biogeochemical nutrient cycle. So you can see here from this picture a little bit some images of, for instance, coral bleaching, harmful algal blooms, fish kill, and the ecosystem are recovering very, very slowly, especially if we don't give a hand to this recovery. On the other hand, the ocean are incredibly important for our well-being, let's put it that way, by the so-called ecosystem services that they offer. We use the ocean for transportation, for recreation. We use the ocean as resources provider. We enjoy the biodiversity of the ocean. And of course, in many, many countries, the ocean economy is really linked. The economy is really linked to the, let's say, the health of the ocean. And of course, the part of the coastline also protects the inland from, for instance, storms and hurricanes and flooding. So on one hand, we are destroying the ecosystem. On the other hand, we really need it. And so the question that we ask to everybody is, what will the future of the ocean look like? We are now, of course, all of us knows that the human impact and disturbance has been huge on the ocean. And we need to move, let's say, from the awareness of this disturbance that we have brought to the system to trying to find solutions. And the fact is that the ocean is now being seen, especially in the last years, as really the place where we could find a solution for our ecosystem and even the entire planet. This is just an example that I found recently in the newspapers, saying like maybe we should plant a kelp, so seaweed forest in the ocean, which can apparently absorb much more CO2 than the rainforest itself can do. And then by let them absorb the CO2, we could probably and hopefully try to counterbalance global warming and ocean acidification. So, and this is the entire idea of using the ocean as a saver, basically, that is really very, very recent in everybody's mind and in science mind. So for this reason, we need people that are capable of performing fundamental but multidisciplinary research in the marine sciences, understanding the ocean changes, and also at the academic level, but also able to, let's say, understand the complexity of the system, to talk to policy and to society, and to finding adequate solution. So I am now curious to ask Amy if she also was motivated by this idea of understanding more the ocean and maybe meaning something for the society. So let's ask her.
Yeah, definitely. So I touched a little bit on ocean studies in my undergraduate. I focused mostly on toxicity for algal plants, and leading from that, I wanted to look more into different areas of ocean science. Growing up, I had lived by the sea, so it held an important place in my heart anyway. And I knew from doing more research before applying to this master's, it held such a big role. So from regulating global climate to even small-scale beach regulation. And And especially at Utrecht University, they offer such a multidisciplinary study. You can really create a path that you want to go down, whether it's physics or biology or paleo science. So that was really what attracted me to this course and this area of study.
Yeah, so as I was saying, I'm a marine scientist myself as background, so I really care a lot about this master. I'm firmly convinced that the solution will be definitely in the ocean. But that's not just my view. It's of course everywhere in the policy now, especially in Europe, but also outside Europe. But there is a huge interest in unlocking the potential of the sea and the ocean. And as a matter of fact, we are writing now a huge research proposal in which a big part of it will be really devolved to finding solution in the ocean to ameliorate the ecosystem and the entire global change. This is why basically the idea behind making such a multidisciplinary master in Utrecht combines forces between different faculties. So we are not just a faculty of geosciences I'm working with, but the science faculty participated, the law, economics, and governance faculty participated to offer to the students a multidisciplinary research master which deals with several different basic disciplines like biology, chemistry, paleoceanography or earth sciences, physics, and law and policy. The master is quite young, if you wish to call it young. It started in September 2014, and for me, will be the third year next year. I am a program leader and coordinator of. Just to show you some other faces of my colleagues, not just myself. As you can see here, you have several people. So you have me basically as program leader, but you also have people that are more experts in biology, in chemistry, in physics, or in earth sciences or paleoceanography like me. And this will be your basically a contact for as thematic coordinators. So if you wish to have more clarification on a certain aspect, you will in the future be able to talk to these people and find your way basically through the master. For physics, physical geography, and law and policy, we also have a thematic coordinator. I personally believe that the aspect of law and policy is now so important in this master that I really want to keep this part very important in the master itself. A little bit about the setup of the master itself. You will need to take courses for an amount of credit which is 45. As it's written in the slides, every course at Utrecht University is usually 7.5 credits. You will have to do 2 compulsory exams or courses: Introduction to Marine Sciences, a general introduction courses, also with the idea of putting all the students a little bit on the same level to start with. Another compulsory course is Ocean Law and Policy, and then you will be asked to choose 4 courses in at least 3 of the 4 so-called core disciplines, which are biology, chemistry, physics, and earth sciences. Next to that, you can gain extra points by choosing electives, so other courses and research. Writing, for instance, a research proposal, of doing some extra courses at other university. I will come back to that later. And then you are asked to work on a major research project for an amount of credit between 30 and 45, and a minor research project or internship, traineeship, or guided research, something between 15 and 30 ECTS or credits. In this quite complicated, if you wish, slide, you can see all the courses that we offered at Utrecht University. Each of them is color-coded. The green one on the top are those 2 compulsory ones. The blue ones are physics courses. The let's say pink one are the earth sciences courses, purple one are the chemistry courses, and the green one are the biology courses. And they all run in different blocks. This is quite complicated, but when the things get more concrete, you will get help from me to find your way. And then there is another course that you may want to take in the summer, which is not in Utrecht, but on an island in the Netherlands at a very important institute, which is called the NICO, so Netherlands Institute for Sea Research. That is also a shorter time period you need to spend there on the field, and only if you wish. So maybe we want to ask again Emmy how what she decided for and how she found her way through all these different colors.
Yeah, so the introduction to marine science course you take in the beginning is a good introduction to all of the topics that you'll explore during your masters. So that's how I sort of approached it. I knew I wanted to do maybe more biology, so I started with the microbes and biogeochemistry at the bottom in green, and then I took the estuarine ecology in the next course. But as you have to take compulsory courses from all 4 disciplines, they offer a range of good ones. Introduction to Physical Oceanography was another one that I took, and I started to move a little bit more towards the coastal zone. So I also took Morphodynamics of the tidal systems. In my 3rd period, we have the compulsory Law and Policy, which is a really great one. And I think they've changed a little bit in their order since I took them. And then in my 4th period, I took the Organic Geochemistry alongside the Field Research Instruction Geochemistry, which couple really nicely together. And the first one finished just in time that you have enough time to join the field trip one, which I would also recommend because it's great hands-on experience, which the other courses maybe are more theory-based, so based more in the classroom. So yeah, that's kind of how I tailored my course. But they're quite flexible as well with you exploring different departments. For example, in my 2nd year, I'm now taking a vertebrate evolution course, which isn't technically within the marine science, but even within that course, I can focus on marine mammals or the evolution around the coastal zone. So yeah, it's really flexible and open to how you want to tailor your course.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly what Emmy was saying. We care about multidisciplinarity. Also transdisciplinarity, as we give this extra aspect on law and policy. But what it's really characterizing this master is the flexibility we give to the student and what I would call the opportunities. You will see other slides concerning these 2 latest aspects, but what I would like to say is that this master is as flexible almost as you wish it to be, because all the students are able to make their own program when they are done with the compulsory part in Utrecht, and even go to other university, even go abroad to follow and to attend other courses. And as a matter of fact, we have students a little bit everywhere, students following courses in Iceland, student following courses in Australia. So as long as that fits with your plan and your planning and your ideas, we try to give as many opportunities to our students as we can to discover other locations and other masters, other courses that are not in Utrecht. And on the top of them, some of the students are also interested in Utrecht in attending courses on communication and educational science, and some more applied courses, for instance, on geo resources, and there's also an opportunity here in Utrecht. In this slide, which you probably want to read now, but you can read later on when you look at the presentation, it's basically showing you a list of all the marine-related courses that the universities in the Netherlands are offering, which means that theoretically all these courses are made available to students at Utrecht University, and so that they can move to another university in the Netherlands and attend a course they really like to attend. Of course, there will always need to be a motivation and a good planning about extra choices. Which also means that, for instance, we have a national collaboration within the Netherlands with all other institutions. So not just the NICO, where I was mentioning before, the Institute of Research, but also the University of Amsterdam, the University of Groningen, the University of Nijmegen. And most of our closest partners are very famous scientists at the Netherlands Institute for Marine Researches, where also many of our students are doing their research, right? To go back a little bit to this Marine Master Summer course, that it's about a couple of weeks in every summer at TESOL. That's really the way the student gets hands-on on the marine research. So they can join a little sea expedition, they can do sampling, they can look at the landscape, they can follow birds, they can collect clams, and they really learn how to do research on the field. Some of our lucky students also joined several seagoing expeditions organized by the NEOS in collaboration with other universities. As you can see here, was a pretty long program of a seagoing expedition, and all the lines you see with the number were shorter legs of this bigger expedition called the NICO, Netherlands Initiative for the Changing Ocean. So many of our master students went on this expedition with experts of different fields and really learned in the course of a couple of weeks or even a month how the ongoing seagoing expedition is actually occurring. And then they even got further into working with those experts, for instance, for their thesis later on. And I don't want to give it away before it's concrete, but I am pretty sure that in 2021 there will be such an opportunity again for the new students. So that will be obviously a dream for a student. So what are the entry requirements? We don't have any maximum capacity, so basically you can subscribe to the master. We would like you to have obviously a bachelor degree. If you have knowledge, insights and skills in the field of earth sciences, biology, chemistry or physics is obviously ideal. Some students are also admitted with, let's say, a relatively limited knowledge in these fields, which means that there is an admission committee, which I'm obviously a part of, which will look at your CV, look at your experience, and decide whether you can be admitted right away, or you need, for instance, to do other courses or what we call a pre-master. What is really important is that you write a very good motivation letter, and you want to explain us why you really want to attend this master. And even if you have already idea of what you would like to become and what would you like to study, that's even another pro. We need to have a proof qualification English. And as I said before, for some people who have, for instance, hogeschool for the Dutch people, sometimes, in some cases, we construct or we tailor basically a pre-master for those students who, in our vision, need some kind of extra background information before they can actually start their master. Some other people here who have been guided our students in research, but I mean a couple of slides would not be enough, because our students are really working with many people and in the entire world. So I would like to give again the opportunity actually to Emmy to explain how she with whom she's working and on what she's working on. So
yes, so I started my first year of the course with all taught courses, and then in my second year I started with a guided research project, which is the slightly smaller project ideally before your master's thesis research. And I looked at individual single cell ciliates, which are the furry sun-like things in the bottom left of the screen. And I looked at stable carbon isotopes within them. Within the paleooceanography department at Utrecht, they had developed a new method to measure the carbon isotopes in small organisms. So I was using it for the first time to determine if single cell ciliates could also be read using this method. And I did that in collaboration with an ongoing project at NIOS. So I had supervisors both in Utrecht and in NIOS, and I got to spend time in both, which was a really great experience. And as part of that, I also spent 2 weeks looking at the copepods, which are a little bit larger zooplankton, analysing and preparing them for their stable isotopes. So I also got a little bit of lab experience in the lab there, which was also really nice. The other pictures relate to my upcoming master's thesis, where I'll be spending 30 days in China to look at mangrove stability on in the mangrove national forest in Hailing Island. They've recently implanted some oyster reefs to prevent flooding further inland. So I'll be looking at how the new seedlings and the existing forest will respond to this change in bathymetry and sediment. And there's a picture of me in the.
So now I'm curious to know if you already made up your mind for the future. What would you like to be? What would you like to become?
I'd like to. Well, I'm basing it off my experience with the thesis, the upcoming thesis. If I really, really enjoy this, I think I'll look into PhD opportunities, because I know there's lots of them at Utrecht University in collaboration with NIOS and just everywhere. But if not, I am looking back more industrial, so in the UK, possibly with the Environment Agency or other areas of research with coastal development. But we'll have to see, I think, at the end of this year.
So that really leads me to, showing like in a picture a kind of research example you can think about by working with us and as a marine sciences student. People working on climate change and Antarctica and the fate basically of the ice on the continent, ocean currents, plastic transportation, color bleaching, and also this kind of project as Emmy will also be part of, then so-called building with nature, in which we are trying to let nature build our protection or protect ourselves inland by using nature and not artificial or engineering kind of structure. And so where are our students? I made a short list, but I could really add several other countries. Obviously, some are staying with us in Utrecht, luckily for their thesis. But some are going to other university in the Netherlands, so Leiden, Wageningen, or many are going to the NIOS. Some are going abroad. You can think about, Kenya is not here, Australia, China, Indonesia, Portugal, US, UK, and all kind of other places, beautiful places, mostly beautiful places. And some are actually doing, next to a very proper research thesis, are doing internship at companies, for instance, the Ocean Cleanup, which may be familiar, Oceans of Energy, Deltares here in the Netherlands, WaterNet, and all kind of protected areas related projects, projects related to blue carbon. So you can even think about combining the more, let's say, research-oriented thesis with more applied kind of internship. So you can learn both aspects of doing marine sciences. How you get admitted or how you can apply for this master. Well, the deadline for EU countries is the 1st of June, and for non-outside EU, before the 1st of April. You can even think about being considered for a so-called Utrecht Excellence Scholarship for non-EU students. In that case, you can find more information on the website, or you can ask more information to us. You need to submit your application before February the 1st. The application is quite easily to be completed online, and then if you apply, you will hear in not that long afterwards if you are accepted or not. Remember, you can always contact me. I receive email from hundreds of students, and you can always ask one of us further information for application and other issues. So, having said that, before I say bye-bye to you, I would like to take again back what the question I asked to Emmy before, like what would you like to do in the future? Maybe some of you will be curious to know what our students are doing now. I must say that about half of our students basically fall in love with sciences and they want to go further with a PhD. But other students have decided to move out of academia, and they are working everywhere in the world, also in consultancies, in the ocean cleanup, and all kind of other companies. And as far as I can see, there's not a big issue in finding a job so far after this master. So we will now dedicate some time to the question and answer. And well, remember, you can email me. Your email is here in my email address is here in this slide. And I want obviously to thank you for being here with us. And yeah, I would like now to have a look at whether there are questions popping up. And before I forgot, as this slide is like a see you soon in Utrecht, hopefully. It's not a C, of course, is C, because this slide, this picture was taken during an expedition I was on 1.5 years ago on the way to Antarctica. So in some very, very lucky situation, some students may also join this kind of really great experiences by, taking part in one of these expeditions. So type in your question if you haven't done yet so, but we'll have a look at what came in, and I'll be happy to answer them.
Yeah, so David has asked, does this master offer a separate statistics course or is it integrated?
Okay, so thank you, David, for your question. Some basic knowledge of statistics is required, but there are also courses, statistics courses, art courses, all kind of programming courses, modeling courses being offered at Utrecht University while the semester is or the blocks are going on. So I would say that with some basics in statistics, you can definitely find your way through at least certainly the courses. And now maybe more advanced statistics for your thesis or for your project is an option, of course, and will be eventually also offered by the university itself.
Mm-hmm. And then Sana has asked, is it possible to start this master in February?
No, unfortunately, is since a couple of years, the only option to start a master is really September. So many times, I think it was already like that when you started.
Mm-hmm.
It was only September, and yeah. So what some students do, they move earlier to Utrecht. and they are allowed sometimes to work with researchers already before starting their master, to get a research experience even before starting the master. So this could be an option. And well, let's say, to go back a little bit to the question on statistics, what was your background in statistics? And
I had done quite a lot of statistics in my bachelor's course already, but I would say especially the estuarine ecology probably held the most statistics of all the courses that I took. But the lecturers are very approachable, and if you want to go more advanced with your independent projects within the courses, I'm sure that's possible, and they'll help you with that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Maria's asked, what are the requirements for being selected to join the NICO expedition?
Yes, so that was every year. So if there will be a new NICO expedition, which as I said, I believe so, there was basically motivation letter. So the reason why you wanted to join which of the sub or the so-called leg. So the sub expeditions, and you were asked to apply for maximum 3 of these 12 legs, and based on your motivation and on the amount of places on that expedition itself, there was a ranking also based on your CV, on your grades gotten so far. There was a ranking, but as far as I remember, I think very few students didn't manage to be on an expedition. I don't know. Do you have a vision on that? No,
it wasn't something.
No. So I believe that our student in Utrecht, at least the one who didn't join, was because they didn't ask to join, or maybe 1 or 2 just didn't make it. But
so not specifically from that expedition, but I know that all of the students from my course that engaged with projects and showed enthusiasm were not often turned away. There was always some space made for them. So I imagine it would be the same for that. Hannah has asked, she's saying she's very interested in polar and deep sea studies. She was wondering if any of the modules available offered to this or similar research.
Well, we in part of the so-called flexibility that I was talking about before, maybe students should know that at Utrecht University we also have a huge research going on a polar area. I am specifically working on Antarctica, but there's also an entire department within the science faculty which is busy with polar research. And other university like Groningen is doing a lot of polar research. So definitely the Netherlands, and I would say also Utrecht, is a place to be if you are interested in polar research, which could be like from ecosystem to climate, paleoclimate, to modeling of ocean currents, to modeling of the future of ice sheets and these kind of things. So we have a very, very strong polar research component going on here, and I'm one of the people involved in polar research. So thank you for your question.
And then Peter's asked, do you also have collaborations or cooperations with the Karambi Institute?
Yes, definitely. So I know Mark Vermeij, the director of Karambi, very well, and he basically hosted many of my even bachelor students, but certainly we have collaboration. And I'm also involved, it seems like I'm a protagonist here, but I'm also involved in quite a bit of Caribbean research ongoing. So I have, I'm part of a network of tropical ecosystem studies. And by being in that network, I have I know many people involved in Caribbean research and also Karmabi, therefore. So, yes. Definitely.
James has asked, does the program provide real life work experience?
Yes. So thank you, James, for this question. As I said before, I actually strongly advise our students to do one project, or maybe the major project in proper research or academic research, and doing their second project, which we call the internship or traineeship, in real life kind of companies. So where you can at the end of your master, you can really understand whether you like academia or you like working in a company. So as I said, we have people at, most famous is probably by now Ocean Cleanup, but there are also companies now trying to win basically energy from the oceans, like Oceans of Energy, and people of companies or institutions working on more applied research, for instance, for the protection of the Dutch coast or other coastal areas, like places like geological survey. So definitely you have a lot of possibility to have this double experience in academia on one hand, and more real life kind of work after your academic experience within the master study. So
I think that's all of the questions that we have. I think these ones have already been answered.
yeah, there was some question about career prospects. So yeah, I potentially already said that. There are most of our students are employed somewhere, which is fine, I think, for a program leader. So it means being quite successful, I guess. And most of our students do prefer staying in academia. And in the Netherlands, but also abroad, there is really huge possibility in terms of PhD. So I think that would be probably the easiest way to find a PhD or staying in academia. But other students are just moving out, and they go to many times to consultancies. So not only in the Netherlands, but also sometimes back in their own country. And so that's definitely an opportunity that's been real for many students. And sometimes you just move for a while out of academia, what I also saw, and then you feel sorry you did, and then you move back to a PhD, for instance, or so. So that's what they do. So if there are no further questions, I think, well, I want to thank you all again for joining us this morning. And as I said, you will get all kind of extra information from me if you wish. You can still contact people from the chat, I guess, and you will receive the presentation anyway. And thank you, and see you in Utrecht soon, hopefully.